What's happening, gamers? It's K-Mega405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be so kind to hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell, all of that. Again, thank you guys for the well wishes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out the last video that I dropped. And then you'll get a better understanding of it. But yeah, I definitely going to be getting on the podcast train here in a few minutes. I'm going to be doing some next podcast, and I don't know if this is going to be a topic. I know that we're definitely going to talk about this on GRG Friday night, but I feel good. You know, the batteries is charged, feels like, and you know, I sound better than what I did when I did my last video, so I think I'm ready to go. But I wanted to talk about Forza for a hot second, right? Like, I just wanted to throw this nugget in your ear. Now, I don't know if, I don't really care about the Metacritic scores. I don't really care about reviews and things like that because they're all subjective. And, it's all about the eye of the beholder. You like a game, you don't like a game. It's not about all of that to me. I think it's conversation pieces, but it's not anything that people should take seriously. But the one thing that I will say is about Forza Horizon 5 is that it is one of the most anticipated games of 2021, once we found out that it was coming out. This game has got rated very, very high. And if it maintains its rating, it's going to be the highest rated game of 2021. And with that being said, there's some people that still trying to look at this game as that, well, it's just a racer. That's what makes this even more spectacular. It's because it is a racer, and some people would think this racing games are niche. And this game is the highest rated game of 2021 so far. And when you look at the games that's coming up, I mean, there's only a couple of games left that could hit the mark to come close. Halo, I'm ecstatic and can't wait for Halo, but I don't think Halo's going to hit a 92. It could, but I think it's going to be somewhere between 87 to 90, but maybe about 86 to a 90. But regardless, if you're looking at Forza and you're talking about a genre that is considered niche, and to have the highest rating of the year, then this game definitely has to be nominated for Game of the Year, right? This is one of those things to me that bothers me about the VGAs and just any of these editorials that does these nominations for Game of the Year and things like that, because they categorize things in a way that makes you kind of look at certain games as not as important. The VGAs piss me off every time when they talk about, well, this here is a sport/racer category. They're not the same genre of game. So why would you lump those games together? And do you think that the devs don't work as hard, if not harder, to make these games the best that they can be? Like, I mean, people have their problems with NBA 2K, people have their problems with Madden, people have their problems with FIFA, etc., MLB The Show or whatever, but these games, they have huge fan bases. These games sell like hotcakes. And Forza is no different. Forza Horizon is the creme de la creme. It is overtaking motorsport. Now, I love motorsport more than I do Horizon, but for the masses, they love Horizon more than they do motorsport. And this game is not going to be a niche selling title. It's going to sell like crazy. It's hitting all the check marks that people are anticipating, which makes a game to be a nominee for Game of the Year. So will they add it? I would hope so. And this will be one of these things to me that is like, I thought that these video game awards was going to start trying to change the tune back when Overwatch won. It beat not The Last of Us, but Uncharted 4. And a lot of people got upset about that, but that game was unique. That game was very popular. That game sold very well. That game was the hottest thing out there. Overwatch was just the hottest game out there at the time. And it was introducing a new genre, which was, there's PUBG and things like that, but for the console space and for, a game that can be played everywhere, Overwatch was dominant. Then, of course, the year after, there comes with the leaks or the conversations from EA, and then you heard about what Phil Spencer and then other people out there in the industry were talking about. Single player games were on the decline because a lot of people weren't beating them, a lot of people weren't buying them, so forth. And it seemed like after that, it was the media's job to let people know single player games are the most important thing in the gaming space, which I don't have a problem with editorials and things like that to make that stance. But it's been single player game winning time and time again. So is single player games more important than fighters? To me, no. Single player games are important, and I love single player games, but I love my fighters more. Now there are certain single player games that I'll play. I'll put a fighter down for a little while, but I love my fighters more than that's like my second favorite genre in gaming. So I love fighters, but fighters are niche. But why is it that a fighter can't get that type of love to be nominated? Now, for some reason, because it doesn't really hit the check marks, I guess, because all the check marks with sales and popularity, things like that, whatever. Now, I would say, Mortal Kombat, kind of breaks the mold when it comes to that. NetherRealm does a really good job of selling their things. Smash Brothers, huge, but they got a category for that, and so but still doesn't mean that like a Smash Brothers shouldn't be in the nomination for Game of the Year, because it is widely popular. So why not Forza, right? Because there are people that will tell you, look, this type of game right here, it's niche. A lot of people don't play racers. And that is true. It's considered niche. Racing games has been considered niche. But this particular franchise isn't niche. It sells better than most of these single player games out here, without any question. So if Forza Horizon 5 hits all the check marks, it's the highest rated game of 2021. It's going to sell very, very well. It is highly anticipated. And the game is, it's robust. It has a lot of cool features. It's adding some new stuff to it, to the franchise. It's in a whole different setting. It's graphically, it's impressive. All of this, all of that. Okay, and then it's just more of those things to me where it's like you have to put it in that category with all the rest of these nominees that's going to be coming out at the end of the year for Game of the Year, without a question. If it doesn't, it's a crime. Because what you're telling me is that single player games is the all thing that rule, and that's not the case. That's not true. When you look at the highest rated games out this year, I believe that Resident Evil 6 is out there. Forza is in the category. I believe dropped. Psychonauts 2 dropped a little bit, but that still should be put in there. I love Scarlet Nexus. Should be definitely in the category. There's going to be people that tell you that Tales of Arise. I've been playing Tales of Arise. I still like Scarlet Nexus better, but that's just for my own preference. But it's still a really good game, no doubt about it. But there's other games out there. So look, you look at a game that just came out. I've been playing. I played a little bit of it. Played about almost 20 hours of it. I got lost and immersed into it, which was Age of Empires 6. That's an RTS, but that game's going to do well. But there will be people that'll tell you, well, that's niche. That shouldn't happen. There's no reason for having that type of game to be nominated or anything. You got Flight Simulator, which probably won't sell well. That's a niche, but there's been Flight Simulators for 30 years, so maybe even longer. So again, I just feel that it's going to be interesting to see what the VGAs do. It's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the industry, when they do these award shows and all of this, how will they make this happen? Because there is no question, if Forza Horizon 5 remains to be the highest rated game of 2021, that game should be nominated. And if it's not, and it's only put into a bullshit category where it's not going to be considered just a true consideration for a Game of the Year, and it's not going to really tell you that that's going to be put in this category where it's just a throw-in. That's what I was trying to say. Then it's a problem, and it's been a problem. It can't just be one type of over-the-shoulder AAA single-player experience that always wins. There has to be more to it, and there has to be more nominations that opens up and shows that there's more to gaming than just that type of game. Sekiro was definitely a different type of title, which I was pleased about that game winning game of the year. I thought last year, me personally, I thought that Ghost of Tsushima should have been game of the year. But listen, The Last of Us 2 was there. I knew that it was going to come down to those two. And I'm not mad about it or upset about that. I knew it was going to be either one. I just preferred Ghost of Tsushima more over The Last of Us 2, but The Last of Us 2 was a fantastic game in its own right, especially graphically and what you could do within that game. But this year is going to be very, very interesting, and Forza should definitely be in the nomination. I'd like to hear your thoughts about it. Yeah, come and check us out on the next podcast here. I think they have already started, so I'm a little late. And check me out on the GRG podcast tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. So everybody have a good one. Until the next one. Peace.